Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, I'm Joe. For many types of games, whether multiple player, FPS or 2D platformer, it's desirable to present the player with a list of levels they can play. Today we'll have a look at how to create a simple level selection in Unity. We will cover how to save and delete the data in Unity and unlock the next level at specified condition. All resources are available on the description box, so feel free and check them out for yourself. Additionally, in order to save your time, we will escape the UI setting. But don't worry, we have prepared another video which demonstrates the whole process of this tutorial, including the UI canvas and the coding script. If you want to start from UI, you can watch that video as well. Okay, let's get started. Okay, we just opened up Unity and currently we have set up the UI canvas now. Before we get started, let's just take a couple of seconds and see how the UI elements are actually made. We have prepared one level selection menu scenes and another 13 levels. I have imported the fonts and sprites folder into our project. This is our UI canvas. The UI scale mode is set to scale with screen size, and the reference resolution is 1920 plus 1080. The other settings we don't really have to worry about. Under the UI canvas, there are two game objects. The UI text game object allows you to display our current map information easily. We will focus on the UI panel. There are 13 level buttons under this UI panel. All of them have the same type game objects. Let's open one of them and to see the detail. Each level button has the image and button component. And the first child game object is another UI image, which represents the log UI image. The rest of his children display the star's UI image. There are two status in our level button game object. If our current level is locked, we want the level image display looks like this. Otherwise, this level button will look like this. In other words, we can only see the stars if our current level is unlocked. Move to our level scene. In order to simulate our level final result, there are 4 different buttons for your play. The buttons will determine how many stars you will get in our game. If you press the first button, we fail to this level. In other words, we cannot unlock the next level. If we press the rest of 3 buttons, we can go to the next level even we only get 1 star. Additionally, I set the button transition to sprite swap, which allows different custom sprites to display depending on what states the button is currently in. First, let's drag all of the scene's assets into the Build Settings window from your project window. Create one C# script called Level Selection and open it. We want our level game object buttons can update different status when the level is locked or unlocked. Go to Visual Studio. We have one Boolean variable that is called unlock, and we want to not only make it visible in the inspector, but also cannot be accessed from outside the class. It makes sense to use serialized field. The default value of our unlock variable is false. Then create one new image variable called unlockImage to hold a reference to the UI image component on our UI unlock image game object. We use array to store a collection of the stars game objects together. We have defined one method called updateLevelImage. If the value of the unlock variable is equal to false, which means our current level is locked and we cannot play this level. We wish to use setActive our unlock image to true. Meanwhile, we don't want our stars game objects display on the screen. We can say stars0.gameObject.setActive to false and stars1, etc., etc. Whereas for loop can be used to iterate over the elements using an index and repeat actions. Inside the curly braces, we used I to represent each star's array index. In else statements, if the value of the unlock variable is equal to true, which means our current level is unlocked and available for us, We can simply copy this block and change several values. Let's try to call these methods inside the update methods. Back to Unity, select all of the level game objects by holding Shift and add the level selection script. In this case, I dragged each UI image to their corresponding references slots, which cost me a great amount of time. In your project, you can complete an individual level game object with the UI references and set it as a prefab. Then duplicate that prefab, or you can simply make 2 or 3 levels to understand the whole process. Now, I have dragged all of the references to their slots. Press play. We can see when we change the Boolean variable to true in the inspector, our level game object button will automatically update. Actually, for the better performance, we should not call these methods inside the update methods, because this game script does not have to implement it each frame. We can comment these lines for future code refactoring. We define another method called press selection. This method will be triggered when the level game object button is pressed. Once this current level is unlocked, inside the if statement, we will move to the first level. Since this script is involved in the scenes transition, the most direct way is to use unity.scenesManager namespace. ScenesManager.load scenes. Because each level button will take us a different scenes. Level 1 will go to level 1 scenes. The last level button will transition to the last scene. Inside the parenthesis, you can pass one string type variable and you can name it whatever you want. Since this method will be called on the button OnCLick event, it makes sense to set it as a public. Then drag the level selection script to the OnCLick event. Select to the press selection methods. And copy the scene's name to the correct place. Then we can use the same way to set up the rest of level buttons OnCLick event. Now, when we press play, we can move to the corresponding scenes. If we want to return to the level selection scenes, we can create another C# script called single level. We define one public bang button method and say ScenesManager.load scenes, and inside the parenthesis is the name of the level selection scene. ScenesManager.load scenes can load the scenes by its name or index in build settings. This is the reason why I drag each scene to the build settings in the beginning. We can drag the single level script into the UI canvas and drag the canvas game object to his bang button component OnCLick event. Select to the bang button methods. Don't forget to check the Raycast Target, otherwise your mouse will not work on that button. When we press play, if our first level is unlocked, we can play our first level. When we press the bang button, we can also return to our previous scenes. Great! Now we can set the rest of levels to the single level script and complete the bank button. If you made by yourself, I highly recommend that you can simply complete the first things and duplicate it, or you can only make 3 or 4 things in order to save your time. In this case, I will make all 11 levels. The next step is, when we press each star button, we want to receive different stars counts in order to simulate our current level final result. Go to single level script. We define a new method called press stars button. The parameter is one integer type variable called _stars number. The first private variable is an integer number that is called current star number. The default value is 0. When we press the star button, the current stars number variable will be assigned to the corresponding number. When we press the first button, we fail to this game, which means we did not receive any stars. Current stars number will be assigned to 0. When we press the third button, we will receive 2 stars, and the current stars number will be 2. If our current stars number is bigger than 0, we want to save our current star number. Well, in here, we don't want to say it's greater than 0, because if we receive 2 stars in this level, well, our current level has already got 3 stars before. We don't want to save the lower stars number in Unity. We only want to save the highest scores into our game. So we can say current stars number is greater than PlayerPrefs.GetInt. Inside the parenthesis is the capital L and V. Add the level index. PlayerPrefs.GetInt returns the value corresponding to key in the preference field if it exists. In our case, we did not define the key. It will return the default value, and the value is 0. Inside the brackets, we want to save our current stars number if the number is greater than our current record. PlayerPrefs.SetInt set the value of the preference identified by key. The key we call capital L and V. Add the level index. Each level has different level index so that each level has their unique key to save their unique level stars highest records. We can use debug.log to see the record to the Unity console window when we press each button. Bind to Unity and drag single level script to each button's OnCLick event, and edit their parameter. When we press play, the console window displays the data we have saved in Unity. Once we press the last button, the console window will only display the highest variable even when we press the first button. However, although we receive stars, we still cannot unlock our next level. Let's continue to write our code. Go to level selection script, define another method called update level status. Our logic is simple. If our previous level stars number is greater than 0, we can play our current level. So we should get access of our previous level stars number. Remember, we have saved the data by using PlayerPrefs.SetInt methods. So we can search for the key by using capital L, V, add one certain number. If our current level is 5, the previous level should be 4. If our current level is 10, the previous level should be 9. So the previous level index should be the current level index minus 1. This is the main reason why I changed the level game object name as one single number. So we can use int.Parse GameObject.name minus 1 to represent our previous level game object level index. int.Parse allows you to convert a string type to integer type. Don't forget to call these methods inside the update methods. When we play in our first level, if we fail to this level, when we return to the selection scenes, we will not unlock our second level. Once we receive at least 1 star at level 1, we can unlock the second level and continue our game. The next step is to set up each scene's level variables and give each button their OnCLick event. If you want to save your time, you can only set up one complete scene and duplicate it for convenience. Also, I highly recommend you to make 3 or 4 scenes for convenience. When we press play, we can move to the next level once we have achieved at least 1 star at our current level. If we fail to this level, we cannot move to the next level. Well, although we have received the stars and to move to the next level, level buttons did not display the active stars correctly. Now each level has the blank stars and hard to see the records of this current level. We declare one public sprite variable that is called star_sprite. We use for loop to repeat the actions. If we receive 2 stars, we want our first 2 stars game object change their images, so the repeat time should be corresponding to our stars number. We use PlayerPrefs.GetInt to get access our current level stars number, and change the stars game object image component sprite property to star_sprite. Bend to Unity and select all of the buttons. Drag the star sprites to their slots. Because we have saved the current stars number in Unity, each time even we start a new game, the Unity will load the data for us. When we press the level 8 and receive 1 star, the level 9 will unlock and the level 8 will display 1 star under the level button. When we receive the 0 stars on level 9, we cannot play level 10 and display 3 blank stars under level 9 buttons. If you want to clear the data, you can say PlayerPrefs.DeleteAll. This method can move all keys and values from the preferences and delete all current settings in the PlayerPref. And values or keys have previously been set up are then reset. Be careful when using this. When we have cleared all data, however, we cannot save our data now. This is the reason why I said be careful when using it, because each time on start methods, we delete all data now. If you want to delete the data, you can use this method only once and command it. Perfect. We have almost completed our level selection now. We can create another UI element to display our current and maximum stars number in this map. Inside the UI manager, we can create one UI text and update the UI text inside the update method. We want to accumulate all of the current level stars number. You will notice that our level starts from 1 instead of 0. So our for loop also should be start from 1 and stop at 13. Cool. In your game, you can set the different condition to unlock your next level and provide corresponding stars. Don't forget to move the methods outside the update methods for better performance. In future, we will make the map selection, and inside each map, we have the level selection. When we receive the required stars number, we can open a new map. Alright, this is the end of this video. If you feel some places hard to follow, I will publish the multiple process of this tutorial in my channel. I hope this video can enhance your experience using level selection screen. Stay tuned for future updates from my channel. For more videos about Unity tutorial, Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop and game design, you can click my profile and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.